about now, Jay. C-Dub on the beat. Back against the wall, CL20's knocking rated. IGI's tripping, validated, shoot ready. Brown incarceration, got my people living daily. Gang wars back to back till the home is where they send me.
Hey, yo, what's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed. And like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. That being said, man, this is going to be a disturbing video. And but I'm going to elaborate on a few things about the prison system, since this was a subject matter that came up with Los Angeles Times and a couple of other news medias. Nobody on YouTube really talked about it other than Hector Bravo. Shout out to Hector Bravo, the prison guard. And it took me some time. I got this a few months ago, and I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to think about it. I want to do a lot of research on it. But let's get into the video. So, a prisoner's wife, this picture right here. And it's very unfortunate that this happened to her. I hope that, you know, she's not disappointed in me making this kind of positive video and talking about it publicly. But you got to remember, I'm in contact with a lot of prison wives who ask me a lot of questions, talk about certain things about their situation, their love life, their marriages, what it's like, if they're lying, if they're cheating, if they're, you know, I do my best to engage with them. But I understand there's a big group out there of women that have incarcerated men that they love their man. It's unfortunate that their man went to prison, but they have every right to stand by their man and just go through it with them and be supportive and be wives. That's what they got married for, or even girlfriends, so to speak. You know, it's a big thing now. It's a very popular subject that's on my TikTok, and people ask me on Instagram and on YouTube. So, you know, like I said, man, it's very unfortunate what happened to her, but she got cashed out, $5.6 million. And I've told you guys plenty of stories about Tehachapi State Prison. I never once came on here and said all CDCR correctional officers are corrupt. But I can tell you who is very off the books, bends the rules, breaks the rules. Most of the time is going to be investigative units. You know, it's SSU, IGI, ISU, people that are investigating gangs and drugs. They operate different because they investigate their own people too. They're a different breed of correctional officers. They're very abusive with their power. They bend a lot of the rules. So I've told you guys about Tehachapi State Prison. The FBI had to get involved because they were beating up inmates, dragging inmates, peeing in the snow, rubbing the inmates' faces in the snow where they peed at, peeing on inmates, cuffing inmates butt naked, dragging them to the snow, leaving them out there for 4 hours so they can freeze in the cold and shiver. Tehachapi correctional officers, before a lot of them got walked off, were going in your cell, beating on you 4 or 5 deep, socking you up, slamming you against the bunk. They'd go in there and search your property and break it, demolish everything that you own, rip your pictures up. And if you filed a 602 and try to reach to the courts for compensation, they just grab your 602 and rip it and laugh at you and then beat you up again. Things changed when I was in Tehachapi, but it still happens. So in this scenario, in this case, she goes to visit her husband. It's a 4-hour drive to go visit her husband. And supposedly they had a search warrant to search her. And they embarrassed her. They humiliated her. The things that were done in this particular case is why I think she was blessed to be compensated in a settlement of $5.6 million. Do I think $5.6 million was worth it? She made that decision. She should have got him for a hell of a lot more, because to inhumanely violate a woman in such a manner, in such a fashion, you know, it sends a message to a lot of other women, because, you know, there could have been a lot of women that didn't take this approach and go after him in a civil suit. And civil suits last years, so she had to deal with this for years, hoping that, you know, somebody was going to be held accountable for this, that the prison was going to rectify the situation, and she was going to be compensated for everything that she's been through. That takes years of dealing with that kind of trauma that she had to embrace, had to deal with, had to endure through this search. So they go to visiting and they get searched. They took her to the back and said they had a search warrant, that she was under investigation, that she needed to strip down. Based on this warrant that they said that they had, which I was in prison for a long time. I've seen so many people get caught up in the visiting room for bringing in dope and phones. If you're doing it on the prison grounds, I never knew that you needed a warrant per se. Yeah, they need a warrant to search your vehicle, search your stuff, search like the hotels you're at. If they had you under investigation and started working with law enforcement to really bust you and get you incarcerated. But I always thought if you're on the prison grounds and you're conducting this kind of illegal activities, they didn't really need a search warrant. They can cuff you and all that stuff. put you under interrogation. But this is the first case that I heard like this. Now, I've heard other different situations, different scenarios, mostly done to inmates, but not to a woman per se. So they took her to a secluded location, a room, and they stripped her down, made her strip all her clothes off. That's humiliating in itself. No woman wants to display her body, her temple, to a bunch of other men and women that are investigators and just show off her nudity to other people. No, not at all. It's very unfortunate, and I apologize in advance for that. They made her do all kinds of this is the part that just disgusts me. They made her squat and cough above a mirror. They put a mirror on the floor and made her squat and cough a bunch of times, which, for those that don't understand, when they had inmates bend over at the waist, they make you spread your cheeks, you squat and cough. They're under the assumption that, you know, your little kulilich, your little chocolate stars, you know, open up and everything's just gonna fall out like, here, you found me, you got me. I don't know why they just assume that. It doesn't work like that unless you're just packed up to the brim of that stuff. I don't know. But and then they tell you to spray them, and they have a flashlight, and they look at your butt to see if like a string's hanging out or if you've been penetrated, and they know that whatever signs that they see to indicate that something's went up there, and you put something up there. Maybe your spokes are blown out as inmates, and they're like, yeah, this is too loose. Something's in there, or he's been putting stuff in there. Let's go in there for an x-ray. So they have her do it over a mirror. Obviously, they're looking at the mirror. They're looking at inappropriate areas on her body, to the point that they even had her spread, you know, certain things on a woman's body, open it up, spread it open to make sure she doesn't have nothing in there. There's other parts of this investigation that throw me off, like really off. So they don't find nothing. They were touching her. They were doing whatever they were doing to ensure that she didn't have no contraband. So she gets put under arrest, gets transferred to a medical center, Adventist Medical Center, where she's still incarcerated. She's still taken to a room, and a doctor that they had unlawfully, you know, forced his fingers in her, curling it, both holes at the bottom and the vaginal area and in the back, to see if she had anything in there. Now, normally you're supposed to do the x-ray first to show like, or if she has something in her or not. And if it showed that she was in possession of something, then that procedure would have happened. But in this case, from what I read, it looked like they did that first and they did the x-ray and had nothing inside of her. And then they made her pee in a pan, not a regular bathroom, pee in a pan to check to see if she was pregnant. Now, that's the part that threw me off. Like, if she was pregnant or not, why did she need to take a test, a pregnancy test, pee in a cup, and you guys needed to have pregnancy results to see, we want to make sure this girl's pregnant or not. What does that got to do with anything? Anything at all? That whether or not she was pregnant or not would be the reason why she was or wasn't bringing in drugs. That threw me off. So, you know, you guys are more than welcome to leave a comment in the comment section, because I know CDCR watches these videos, because I've been informed that they do. Leave a comment in the comment section how you feel about that. And a lot of other stuff, man. A lot of other stuff may have taken place that she may not have relinquished the information to the news media, but she wanted to be publicly let it be known what they did to her and how they violated her civil rights, inhumane things that they were doing. And she won. I don't know how long this civil lawsuit took place, but she won $5.6 million. Now, mind you, it's a lot of money for him and for her. I'm sorry that he had to go through that as well and have to sit there in his cell, because knowing your wife went through that, you're gonna confide in her, you're gonna console her, and you're gonna have to hear about it in letters, visits, on phone calls. So it must have been a hard battle to deal with, a hard struggle to deal with, knowing that he can't do nothing about it. He's in a cell, so he's gonna overthink it, think about it every day. Now, they got blessed with this money, but I still think this kind of amount of money, I'm pretty sure a lot of women be like, it sufficed, but that kind of money doesn't erase that situation. It really doesn't. That kind of money doesn't help you heal. Yes, it's going to financially take care of you guys for a while. Man, you guys struck it rich, hit a gold mine, hit the jackpot at the casino. It doesn't erase what took place. And this woman is going to have to deal with that, and that's very unfortunate for her. So, you know, I am happy for her that she won and she got compensated a lot of money, and I hope that she does great things with that money. But It's hard to be happy for a woman that won this kind of settlement when you know what she's been through. When you read the article on Los Angeles Times, what she really went through, bro. And that's not cool. But let me share something with you guys. I was in prison for 15 years. I've watched. Now, I'm not going to say that she was or wasn't bringing in dough for this dude. I don't know about that. That's not my business. Whatever. I'm saying for those women that do indulge in bringing drugs and phones or passing kites, any illegal activities that they conduct on behalf of their husbands, boyfriends, brothers, whatever, you are subjected to these kind of treatments, to these kind of, searches, to these kind of harassments on the basis that drugs do flood the facility. I don't see no cavity search being done on a correctional officer when they bring it in, because they bring it in far more than visitors do. They're the ones that, how do you think we get phones, man? You can't bring a phone through the visiting room. There's certain ways you could do it, but it's very rare and it's very hard. And you could do it like once or twice, but then you'll blow it out. You don't hear about them getting cavity search. You just hear about them getting walked off, going to county jail, getting released, getting misdemeanor charges, getting retired, and then they can keep their 401k. You hear about that. But when you're going to grab a correctional officer, then spread them, bro. Like that scene on American History X when they caught him in the shower, grabbed both his legs open. Nah, bro, you're bringing in drugs and phones to these dudes. I want to see what you got in your cavities. You don't see that done to a lot of correctional officers, but for it to be done to, civilians, it's only because, throughout prison, that's the pattern of activity in which they investigate, which is women at visiting room or your loved ones are the ones bringing everything in, and they're trying to stop it from happening. They're trying to stop all the overdoses, all the drugs going in, all the corruption that's going on in that visiting room. And there's going to be a lot of women and a lot of loved ones that do that, where they have to be under investigation. Now, I'm not saying it's an approval and I'm sanctioning approval, or I agree with the ways they go about it. Hey, bust them in the act. Doesn't mean, but if you ain't got no evidence and you just assume because of rumors on the yards by a bunch of inmates and you're watching the visiting cameras and you're like, well, it looked like she passed him something, and then just gaffle them up and make them spread everything. Like, no, there's legalities and there's legal ways to go about it. But some people are going to be put in these unfortunate circumstances because that's where most of the drugs come from. Most of the drugs come from is through a visiting room, plain and simple. So a lot of women that do get involved in this kind of, legal activities, other people are going to be subjected to those kind of same harsh treatments, punishments under assumptions, under rumors, under investigations that might not even be doing it if it looks suspicious. Or say you're not even doing it. Say you go over there just to visit your husband, but your husband takes $500 of your money from Green Dots, is buying 3 grams on the yard and papering stuff up, and then word gets to the investigative unit like, this fool's been selling a lot of dope lately. And we've been monitoring his phone calls. He's been cashing her out, Green Dots. She never brought that dude drugs a day that visit. That can subject you to them kind of searches because they don't know if you're bringing it in. They don't know where you're getting the dope from. They just know rumors on the yard that you're pushing weight and she's cashing out the Green Dots and then giving you other Green Dots. So we'll try to catch you. If anything looks suspicious that visit, we're going to snatch both of you up and we're going to strip her butt naked. You're going to put your loved ones through that because you're so desperate to make thousands and thousands of dollars on the yard. You're so desperate to get high on the yard. And remember, they're not going to be subject to just cavity searches and illegal searches, harassment, belittlement. You'd be surprised how many of these cops are just going to make fun of your old lady or, degrade your old lady, objectify your old lady, might even hit on your old lady. I've seen cops hit on other people's old ladies saying that you shouldn't be visiting that fool. You should hook up with me. Woo, woo. You know what I mean? Give me your number. It happens, bro. So you got to be careful when you're in that visiting room. And what you do. Everything you do on the yard does affect other people on the streets too. You may not see it, you may not care to acknowledge it, but your loved ones are going to suffer. Whether you're just involved in gang politics and messing up your day, or running up drug debts and asking them for money, or selling dope on the yard and getting your family searched that visit. Everything you do in behind those walls affects the loved ones that are on your side. And a lot of these dudes in the penal system really need to pay attention to that. Because, like I said, I don't know the circumstances, what they were doing to bring on this investigation. But the investigation was concluded that she wasn't doing nothing wrong. She had nothing on her. and she got violated in the most ugliest, disgusting ways, especially that whole squatting over the mirror stuff. I would never want my loved ones to go through that. So I would never want to place my loved ones through that. But there's been occasions where I had girls visiting me, understood the circumstances. It never happened to me. But thank God. Honestly, thank God, because I was one of those devious people that would manipulate a woman to bring dope at visit or give me money. And, I never really thought to understand then, but I understand now. So maybe with this video, I can spread that message to everybody that's incarcerated. Like, if you got loved ones by your side, man, try not to subject them or get them involved in anything. They're there for you, to love you and take care of you and support you. Don't get them caught up in your bull crap. They have a life to live. Don't compromise that life because they chose to go visit you and you want to get them involved in everything because you want to be the biggest dude and the most popular dude and the kingpin in the prison system. That's that time you get to escape prison for 8 hours, for one day. Enjoy that luxury and that privilege of having somebody by your side, because there's people incarcerated that have nobody. Everybody's died. Everybody's walked away. Don't subject them to that by getting them involved in stuff that's really none of their business. And that's on you, because when they suffer, you're going to suffer as well, because they're not going to be there for you no more. Your financial revenue is going to be gone. Any connections, networking, you're going to flush it down the toilet just for temporary gratifications of feeding your arm or making a little bit of canteen or trying to be the tough guy in the yard. Don't put your families through that, because I know a lot of people in the penal system do watch my videos. But overall, I'm very sorry that this happened to this woman, but she won. And she got to Hatchet, one of the most corrupted facilities in California when it comes to California CDCR. Got him for $5.6 million. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. So with that being said, like I always say, is one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. Peace.